Hello everyone. I want to start off by telling you normally I don't really believe in this stuff, but something happened. Let's start from the beginning. I was 17, almost at the end of my high school year. I always got good grades, so I was in the kitchen eating breakfast with my sister and my mom. My mom had a flu sickness, so she wore a mask. If I'd have known what was going to happen, I could have stopped it, but I didn't. I wish I did. I went to school, and as normal, it we just went into class and started doing our thing. Teacher came in and asked us to calm down so we could start today's lesson. Everybody got quiet. So as we were learning in math class, the teacher starts coughing like crazy and passes out. Everybody started freaking out. I remember my friend Alyssa called the ambulance who came in. Since there was no teacher to teach, we skipped that class and they would have a substitute tomorrow. Fast forward the next day. Our teacher was back, not our substitute, like our real teacher, Mr. Bryan. We asked Mr. Bryan if he was okay, and he said yes, I am very okay. So, we just sat back and thought. But for some reason, this is math class, but he was teaching us about history, which is odd because he's a math teacher, and he normally doesn't do much in history. This history was odd, though. It was all about these creatures that were supposedly around before we were around. And when we came around, they became angry, and they basically destroyed tons of human lives, villages, killed children, ate people, and it keeps going on that there were a lot of them were killed and turned into the black goo. And these black goo can possess and control people, and all they want to do is take over the world again. Odd, but we went all with it. As he bent down to pick up his coffee cup, it was filled with black goo, and we just thought it was a prank, so we dismissed it. A couple hours later, the bell rings, and we go to get lunch. The lunch lady, who's normally very nice to me, was rude, and I don't know why. And I looked closer, and dripping from her nose into the potatoes was black goo. Something was going on. I didn't know what it was, but I shrugged it off, as normal teenagers will do in most things. After that, I started eating my hamburger and realized that when I bit into it, I don't know what happened. I bit into it, looked down, and there was black goo coming from the meat. I was horrified. I ran into the bathroom, and I locked the door and threw up all of it. A mixture of meat chunks, bread chunks, black goo, and stomach acid filled the toilet. Everybody asked me if I was okay. It was awful. Everyone was eating the food that was full of that weird black goo. What is that stuff? Who does this? A couple hours later, fast forward a couple hours later, two of them in my room watching TV. Our dog, Scamper, threw up all over my floor. I expected it to be normal throw up, but it wasn't. The same black goo that's been in my school. I thought it was just a school, but it's everywhere. So I cleaned it up, but it was like it was glue. It got stuck to my rug. I couldn't even get it up, not one bit. I tried water, soap. I even tried milk and salt that someone on Twitter said I should try to get stains out. and it still didn't work. Oddly enough, when the sunlight coming through the blinds touched it, it burned it off. And I shrugged it off. It was the weirdest thing ever. Later that day, or night as you would say, I went to sleep. Had the dream about everyone melting into goo. And they melted and everyone was gone. And I was the only one left. I woke up to my mom shaking me. She told me, "Sweetie, wake up. You're having a nightmare." She said she heard me screaming in the middle of the night, and she came running. It was weird. For a second, I thought I saw her eyes go from black to normal. Something odd was happening, and I didn't know what, but I had determined to figure out what is happening. One day I went to see my friend Veronica, and all of a sudden, she yelled at me, and then hit me to the ground. I was laying there in a daze, and then I blacked out. I woke up in my bed, strapped down, with belts and ropes, only to see a black figure slowly rise off the ground. Pulled out a large butcher knife, and that butcher knife was landed straight in my chest. I was still alive. I didn't know why. After they stabbed me, I woke up. It was a dream. I woke up in the hospital. They said I hit my head at my friend's house. My friend Marley hit her. It was weird. After a couple days of observation, they let me go home. I went home, went to bed, woke up, got my things together, only my mom, my dad, and my little sister, even my dog, were just gone. This is very unlike them. They knew I was still home, so they shouldn't have left without me. And as I walked, my bedroom was normal, but when I walked downstairs, it was like my whole house was rotting, like it's an abandoned house falling apart. What's even worse is the smell. It was like a rotten corpse. Still, I walked through the house very careful not to step on a piece of rotten floor because our living room was right above the basement. The basement has like a 20, maybe 19-foot drop to the floor. And it was awful. I kept walking. Then I saw my mother. She grabbed my shoulder. But it wasn't her. It wasn't her. She had a sickling grin on her face that was something of a serial killer. I ran. I smacked her arm and ran. Looking backwards, I bumped into something. It was my dad. That wasn't my father. I ran again, and ahead of me was my 5-year-old sister. They all had these weird smiles. Their eyes were pure black. And coming from their mouth was the black goo. Of course, the goo. The things they taught us in school, it all linked together. Quickly I grabbed my father's shotgun out of the cabinet, loaded up, and fired it. All of them, they were dead. Until I realized they were getting right back up, and I bolted out the door. I grabbed my bike and rode down the road. Until I crashed into my friend's bike. Held him at my dad's shotgun. He's like, "Wait, no, it's me, Veronica." I said, "Veronica, what are you doing? Is this really you?" She said, "Yes." And I didn't believe her at first, until I realized she was standing in sunlight. I remember the same goo hit sunlight and it would burn. Yeah. As my little sister, father, and mother impersonators walked outside, hit the sunlight, they burned like a vampire hitting holy water. So we ran. Our bikes at this point were trashed because we crashed into each other, so we ran on foot. We also met my friend Stacy and her boyfriend Jeff. So we all met up and we left to go towards the store that we normally go to with our parents. Keep in mind that Jeff is 18. I'm 17. Veronica is 16. And my friend was 18. We ran. Normally this store carries guns. They sell them too. So I had a 45 along with the shotgun I already had with more ammo, and we each had some kind of machete-like object, so we were prepared. We fought our way through several of those people. Keep in mind that they, some reason, tinted out the windows with the same black goo everybody was infected with. These guns and blades didn't help, especially the blades that got stuck in the goo, so we just dropped everything and bolted, as we realized there was another store we realized we should go to. So we made makeshift guns out of wood, wire, and lamps with connected to batteries. These were UV lamps. If we get trapped again, we pull the trigger, which would light up the lamp. UV rays, like sunlight, it burned them, so we used it. We ran to the library to figure out what was going on so we can find a book on this stuff. There was only one book we found. It was an old book. Matter of fact, I didn't even know they had this book. In it, it says, I couldn't really read it that much, but it was in Latin. Apparently, we think Latin is an older language than we thought. As I'm kind of reading it, I'm semi-good at reading Latin. It basically translates to, the black goo shall be destroyed when the ball of fire ignites. So we thought that it was daytime, but they would still be around. So we kept reading, and there is a way to draw them out into one spot. The only problem is it requires a human heart that's still beating. Someone had to sacrifice their life to that way draw them out with the spell and destroy all of them, but we couldn't ask anyone to do it. That's when my friend Veronica volunteered, and I told her no, but we only had one choice. She wouldn't take no for an answer. So we did the ritual. She started glowing red. That's when we noticed thousands of these things everywhere. We did another spell in the same book, opening a portal out of there. We ended up 3 miles away. They were dying. Thousands of them. For some reason, we were in the crowd as they were running towards it, but they couldn't see us. We were invisible to them. And keep in mind that they've been wanting to turn us for several hours. And that's what happened. Next, there was a large explosion. We all ducked down behind this burger restaurant. Afterwards, we looked out. No sign of everyone. This was a ghost town. We all went to bed and woke up. Everyone was back. They were human again. They were people we knew, except for one person, Veronica. Fast forward to my 19th birthday party. We all still remember Veronica's sacrifice. If you ever see black goo, don't touch it. Run. They never found Veronica's body. There were rumors going around that satanic cult took it. We all know what really happened, but we couldn't explain it. So we just agreed with everyone's satanic cult theory. Never, ever, ever go near the goo. We still don't know where it came from, or who opened it, or who let it out. Let's just pray they don't do it again. Thanks you guys for watching or listening to my scary campfire story. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Also, links to the description for my last video. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's awesome. Remember to like and subscribe. Bye, everyone.